as you kindly introduced myself, I have been really lucky in my life to cover various roles in my professional life, so both as a hospital in the doctor, a cardiologist at the university and the hospital, and also then in the pharmaceutical world, but continue to keep a relation with patients also in my private practices. And it has been very interesting be on the both sides, no, from the hospital research and then also as a private practice with patients, because you know, I have some special feeling about what the clinical research mean, and you know how much I spend in my life to explain to patients the importance that they become aware of the process of the clinical research. What does it mean? What is the problem that they can face, and so on. So, but in general, the role of treating physician is a crucial one. In Italy, we say that there is no the church, the priest that you can visit him and talk to him, explain your problem, your things. Then there is the doctor. It's also the same figure. Not so much the psychologist, because in Italy we think that otherwise people think to be crazy and decide not to go to there. So the doctor become like a confessor in some extent. And especially in the clinical trial, they try to understand what it means, because the general practitioner, so the medico di famiglia, it's what they call, is usually a person who knowing the patients since a long time. He knows all the pathology. And nowadays, also the informatic equipment of the practicing physician is much more improved. So we have a lot of data, we have our files and so on. But what is usually done by the practicing physician is to get in touch with the colleague in the hospital, in the clinical, in the research center, because usually it happens that the patient asks for help. And if there is no drug, it's okay. We can try to test it, to prove what is better. But sometimes there are no drug yet, and there is just the clinical research and opportunity for them to be treated. So the most frequent request I receive by the patient is just to tell them if there is something new on the air about clinical research, about new drugs, and also asking which kind of research they would be facing. Because even if it's not so frequent to find patient well prepared, I would say, but nowadays with all these programs and information and media and so on, they try to be at least acknowledge about what's going on. And one of the most frequent things to say, but if I go to the clinical trial, then I could be received placebo. So this is an important question. And you know, nowadays, there are a lot of way of thinking about this direct comparison between drug and also the comparison of the new drug with the placebo, because with the historical data, so the history of the disease, now we have a lot of natural history data, and we can select the same matching patient with natural history without the need to use placebo. And then now this is something that is coming more and more important in the facing the clinical research. So the role of the treating physician is more or less to be a trade union, trade union between the clinical center and the patient, just in between. And the patient like to understand, to understand about the trial, what is it, how does, which kind of engagement is necessary, how heavy is the performance of the trial during the year and the period, with how many times you have to go to the hospital and so on and so on. So then when the patient, at least the patient spoke to me and go to the hospital, quite often and almost always, they are willing to go in this clinical research. Unless they are not convinced, then they say, well, I want to think, I need time to think about. So this is something that I feel is important from our role, that we have to let understand the patient that they are in a protected environment. Also because sometimes they think about the ownership of the data, and they say, which is the ending of the story of my data, what will happen? And I would like to tell them, oh, the data is yours, but you know, this is not precisely the truth at the moment. So this kind of instrument of this blockchain applied to this system for recruitment and this consultation, how to describe this word and this would be very nice. This technology is absolutely marvelous, but even if it is true that it's good, it's not so well known. Not many people know about this unless specialized people. And we should do as much as possible to let this new technology understand by the patient, understand about the advantage for all the stakeholders, not only for patient, but also for clinician, for pharmaceutical company, everyone, to have this kind of secure data where, you know, it's something that we have been like searching like a philosophical stone, you know, in the history of clinical research. That would be very nice to have it, but we have to explain. And you know, probably the young generation now that are much more expert in informatics and media and so on will be the patient of the future. They will not have our hesitancy, our unpreparation about the informatics, but theoretically is an ongoing knowledge across all the population now. And you remember the EU party experience is also teaching a lot about this new science, these new technologies, but it's always more and more necessary that we try to help citizens, patients, to understand about this new technology. And this blockchain is a new baby on the block and new kids on the block, and we should be as much as possible able to explain when patients come to us and say, well, this is the future, things will go in this direction, and you can profit from this. At least this is my experience in a nutshell. I don't want to stall your time. We are also lagging in the time, but I am open to any question that you could pose to me.
So do you think that the number of treating physicians searching for trials for their patients or supporting patients in finding a trial would increase if a broadly established trial matching platform were available? Because at the moment we have very small numbers of treating physicians who are really engaging here. Some more opinions? So would the impact not only be on the patients, but also on the treating physicians?
Yeah.
Okay, we still get some answers. Okay, I think we clearly see here also here there would be a big impact seen if such a more general solution, broadly known solution and available solution would be there. Next question. Should the trial matching system request the entry of a comprehensive set of health data that might require support from the treating physician? And here the answer is yes, it is important that the matching is as precise as possible, or no, it is more important to get early access to an investigator and to see whether with him or her, whether the trial fits or not. So having then a personal interaction between the patient and or the potential patient and the potential investigator. Or I have no opinion. So what do you think here? Is it important that there is as early as possible as much data available to have a precise working of the algorithm, so to say, more on the technical side? Or is it important to establish the contact first and then see further? Okay, here we have different opinions. And it is about 50-50. So both aspects are, of course, obviously important. So the question is really what to do. I think that will be a difficult decision to be made that probably also requires more search, or let's say opinion collection, opinion seeking from the different stakeholders, from the patients and from the investigators and the treating physicians. That could perhaps the topic for a survey, to really get a broader understanding of what the situation is here, in which direction to go, in how far the matching algorithms should be technically enabled, and what is the role of the early connection between a potential investigator and a potential trial subject. Okay, thank you very much. Also, Silvano, thank you very much to you.